Hi Ram. What we are going to do, we are going to implement SCD using Azure DataBricks. Right. For that, let's first theoretically discuss what will be the flow. So we'll have our, source database, which will be Adventure, Adventure Works, right? Adventure Works DW 2019, right? Then what we'll do, we'll pick data from it or capture data from it and put it into an ADLS folder, right? We'll call it raw layer, right? Okay. Then what we will do, once we have our delta in our raw layer or we data load layer, right? Then we'll use DataBricks to read this data and what you can say push or what you insert or SCD into a delta table, which is in turn like what, as I mentioned earlier, delta tables are by itself are Parquet files or files, right? So we will maintain them in another ADLS folder, which we'll call delta, or some people call it bronze layer, but for our purpose we'll call it a delta, right? Delta, or some people call it silver or bronze layer, right? But we'll call it delta. Here we will call it delta load, data load only. So you get the concept, right? So this will be our flow. If you think about it, we have already implemented this part until here, right? Where we copy data from our source database to an ADLS folder. When we implemented our, historical load pipeline, we did this. So what we need to do here, right? We have to make some certain changes into the pipeline. Those changes are, we want to implement a folder structure a little differently. Where what we want to do, we have our data load folder. Inside data load folder, what we want, first we want schema, from which schema we are copying. Under the schema, we want table name, to which table name we are copying. And inside this table, what we want, first we want two folders. First will be, let's say, in progress, and another will be historical, right? So like why I am doing this, right? So what we are like, if you think about it, right, let's say we first time copied all of our data into DataBricks, that's fine. In the from second time, we'll get deltas. Deltas mean the changes that happened and the new records that came, right? So what we will do, we'll put them in progress folder, right? And then we'll use the Azure DataBricks to process this in progress folder and write to our delta table, right? And once we have written into the delta table, we will move the whatever files we have in progress into the historical load, right? To this historical. So what, in this way, we'll always have if for some reason we need to see, like, okay, on this day we copied this file and some records are missing or something like that, then we can go ahead into this historical folder and manually see, okay, how many records that day we actually copied from this database, right? So we'll implement this kind of structure in the folders first, right? And again, we'll need one more, we'll need one more ADLS account for holding this delta table, which we'll name delta, right? So that will be inside this, no, it will be before this, it will not be inside data load. It's a separate